Ukrainian drones have reportedly struck an oil refinery in Omsk, Siberia, roughly 2,500 kilometers from Ukrainian territory, in what would be the deepest confirmed strike into Russia since the war began. According to a statement relayed by Telegram channel Geopolitics, President Zelensky announced this week that Ukrainian drones successfully reached and struck the oil refinery in Omsk, deep inside Siberia. Zelensky described it as a significant result of Ukraine's long-range strike campaign, stating, and this is a direct quote from his statement, "There is now no Russian oil refinery that Ukrainian weapons cannot reach." At approximately 2,500 kilometers from Ukrainian territory, this would represent the farthest confirmed strike of the entire war. It is important to note that independent, on-the-ground confirmation of the damage has not yet been established. The claim originates from a single Telegram source relaying Zelensky's public statement, so the full extent of the strike's effect on the facility remains unverified at this time. Strategic assessment. First, the economic picture. If confirmed, a successful strike on the Omsk Refinery, one of Russia's significant deep interior processing facilities, could introduce upward pressure on global oil markets by signaling sustained risk to Russian energy output. Russia's war economy depends heavily on refinery throughput for both export revenue and domestic fuel supply to military logistics. Even a temporary disruption at a facility this far from the front would represent a meaningful degradation of that supply chain. Markets will be watching for any Russian export volume data or price movements in Urals crude in the days ahead. On political stability, Zelensky's public framing of this strike is as much a political signal as a military one. By declaring no Russian refinery is beyond reach, he is reinforcing domestic Ukrainian morale and sending a message to Western partners that Ukraine retains offensive initiative without requiring foreign ground forces. For the Kremlin, a strike this deep into Siberia creates internal political pressure. It challenges the state narrative that the Russian homeland is insulated from the conflict and may intensify public scrutiny of Russian air defense gaps at this range and the wider geopolitical consequences. The strike, if verified, marks a qualitative escalation in Ukraine's long-range strike doctrine, shifting the campaign from frontline and near-rear targets toward deep strategic infrastructure. Open-source analysts assess this could prompt Russia to accelerate air defense deployments around interior energy sites, potentially thinning coverage elsewhere. The likely implication for the next 7 to 14 days is an uptick in Russian retaliatory strikes on Ukrainian energy infrastructure and renewed diplomatic pressure from Moscow on states suspected of supplying long-range drone components. Watch for any Russian official acknowledgement of the incident, damage assessments from commercial satellite imagery providers, and any Ukrainian follow-on strikes that would confirm this as a sustained campaign rather than a one-off demonstration. The Omsk strike claim, unverified but strategically significant if confirmed, suggests Ukraine's drone campaign has entered a new phase, one that places Russian energy infrastructure thousands of kilometers from the front line within potential targeting range. Stay with this channel for verified updates as the picture develops, and consider subscribing so you never miss a briefing. This brief is based on publicly available open-source information and is for educational and analytical purposes only.